now, Mr. Realtor, I've got questions. What should I be asking? You know, I think a lot of people don't know the questions to be asking about investing in real estate. I think that's probably something that you do really well is you open up that door about just creating, hey, here's the education for it. But I'm somebody on the street. I'm looking to go and invest in real estate. What are the questions I should be asking my realtor?
Great question. Yeah. So I want to back up a little bit from that because one of the things that when you're looking into getting investing, what happens is we get excited about it, right? We watch a bunch of YouTube videos or we listen to a bunch of podcasts and we go, this sounds amazing. I'm hearing all these stories about how all these people are making money and investing. But what do I do? Yeah. You know, how do I start? And so you start saying, oh, well, let me just talk to some agents, you know, that I know. Let me talk to some lenders that I know. Let me talk to friends who I know have investment properties. Right. But you catch the vision of investing, but then you just don't know what to do with it.
Right. The practicality of it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So what's really important is you're talking to agents and you are trying to figure out, okay, how does all this apply to my specific situation? You need to ask them several questions. I think one that's really important is what kind of investment properties does that agent own themselves, right? What's their experience? Right. Have they bought a duplex? Have they lived in something and then rented it out and moved somewhere else? Have they bought a commercial, you know, up above 4 units? Property, all those things matter because it's somebody who's lived through it, right? It's the old saying, like, if I'm going to hire a personal trainer, I'm going to hire someone who's really fit, who's really, you know, looks good. They've been through it. They know what it takes to get there. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that you want to have. You know, all agents, you're licensed, and you can. Once you're licensed in Colorado, I can help anybody buy, you know, my license allows me to help anyone buy anything real estate wise, right?
Land, multi-property, single family. The whole
we
thing.
Get into all kinds of things like that, right? But just because I can doesn't mean I know how to.
Correct.
And I think that's the big thing. So having someone who's forged the path themselves, who knows how to, how the ins and outs because they've lived it, I think that's a big question you need to ask.
It's a massive differentiator.
Yeah.
And people who tell you it isn't, I couldn't disagree more.
That's right.
You need somebody who's well versed in it because there are a lot of nuances that happen amongst the numbers, and you know that's a lot of it too is running the numbers, making sure you run it the right way.
Piece of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep. So I think that's one of the big questions you got to ask. I mean, same on the lending side, right? You don't want to, you don't want a lender saying, yeah, I can help you, you know, in this investment loan, and they've never done it themselves. I think it just gives you that experience and all that knowledge around it that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yep, exactly.
So next, I would say for sure, you know, how can you help me find and then analyze a property? Right? So you know, the big thing is I think a lot of people you'll look at it and say, okay, as long as my rent covers my mortgage, then it's a good investment, right? Yeah. But there's a lot more that goes into it, you know. So first of all, there's a lot of numbers you need to consider. Yeah. And there's a lot of things you need to look at. So
and what are like the top 3 that you would say that outside of cash flow, right? That I should be really looking at as an investor? You
want to look at cash flow, but you also want to look at what are all your expenses. And your expenses are not just mortgage, insurance, taxes. Yeah. Like what about property management? What about other monthly maintenance? You know, those are obvious things. There's a lot of non-obvious things, right? So vacancy rate, are you considering that into the equation?
Exactly.
Are you considering what's called bad debt? Yeah. Most people don't know what bad debt is. It basically is if I have a renter or a tenant who they leave and their lease ends and then they don't pay me that last $1,000 of rent, I'm probably never going to see that again. So I need to factor that into my equation as well.
Right? Exactly. Because that's the difference between an investor who stays successful.
That's right.
And an investor who thought this was all sunshine and rainbows and is like, I'm out.
Exactly. Right? 100%. You're getting a bad deal.
Right. If you prepare for it and it doesn't happen, great.
That's right.
But if it happens and you're prepared, it's part of the plan.
It's part of the plan.
Exactly.
It's already built into the model, into what you're looking for.
Yep.
So that's another big one. What about expense growth, right? The cost to repair my dishwasher 10 years ago is not the cost today. So we have to account for over time, how's that expense going to grow?
100%.
How is taxes going to grow, right? Your payment's going to go up over time, so we need to account for that as well and make sure just because it works today, we need to make sure it works tomorrow too, right? So we're not just looking at, is this deal going to work for me right now or for the next year? You know, if your plan is to hold it for 10 years, you need to make sure this works every year for the next 10 years.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I love about what you do is you forecast the future really well, and it's not about necessarily the here and now.
That's right.
Right.
Not just about the here and now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
So those are big things
Yeah.
as you're analyzing and looking and making sure like all these numbers are going to work. Obviously, you got to say, how much of a down payment do I need? What's the interest rate?
Yeah.
I got to factor that piece in because what's my debt payment on this property, and maybe the numbers work at 25%, but maybe I need to have 40% down to get the numbers to work, and then we're good.
Sure.
But you need to be able to like move all those
Yeah.
pieces,
Twist
dial
the
all the
knobs a little
knobs.
bit.
Exactly,
Right. Exactly. Then it's like, okay, well, if we didn't put that 15% down and we keep it at 25
That's right.
and we put it over here, where does it fall into that bucket? Right.
100%.
So it's a lot of give and take.
Give and take there.
Yeah.
The other thing is, how am I going to increase the rents? How am I going to add value to the property?
Yeah.
That ways to look at that creatively, right? Is there a space in the building if you're buying, like I have a fourplex down in Colorado Springs. There's a space in there for laundry, so laundry service. So I have a company that puts in the machines. They charge, they handle all the payments and everything.
Nice.
And then I get a piece of that every month.
There you go.
Laundry income.
Nice.
That was a way to add value to the property.
Perfect. Right.
Maybe I'm buying, I need to look at the conditions of property, right? How much can I put into this and then increase rents later as well?
Right.
So what I do and we look at is saying, maybe we're going to put $5,000 into each unit, and we know we're going to increase rents by $300.
Yeah.
Something else you got to think about there, and play that into the whole model and the whole equation.
There you go.
A third way to do this is what's called RUBS. It's called Ratio Utility Billing System. It's a fancy way to say, I'm going to charge my tenants rent, so $1,000 a month.
Yep.
But if I'm paying for all the utilities, I'm going to charge each unit another $100 for the utility payment. So a lot of properties, they just charge flat rent and don't think about the utility side of it. So you can increase your income on that investment property by doing that as well. So
Smart.
So you're not only looking at how is it currently performing, you're also looking at what's it going to perform if I do these things, X, Y, Z.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Is there anything else I should be asking on?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, where can you help me? How are you going to help me find a property, and where?
There you go. That's the most important part.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
where are you going to find the deal for me?
That's right.
Am I going to have to find? Am I going to have to run the numbers?
That's right.
Or talk about it. And is it in Colorado? Is it in other states? Talk about that, because you've got a really strong base in a few different awesome investment cities. So I'd love to hear about
100%.
that.
When you're looking for investment properties, you're looking at it like you said. It's a perfect way to say it. It's a business, right? You're looking at, how do I make sure everything's going to run the way it's supposed to and perform the way it needs to. Yep. So Colorado was a great place to invest 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Tough nowadays, for sure.
It's really hard to find a good investment property in Colorado.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really big down payment.
Right.
It's hard to get the numbers to work.
Right.
So what do? You need to go to markets and other places that still have that good potential for rents, and you can still get properties at lower value than what you can get here.
Right.
So what you need to ask your agent or anybody you're working with is, what kind of access do you have to other markets to help me find investment properties?
And a lot of people think like, oh, I need to buy where I live. So what would you tell the person that's a little bit hesitant on buying an investment property that's not in the place they live? Because like if it's not in front of you, it's a little bit daunting.
That's right.
Right. So how do you work through that? I mean, to me, I almost kind of like that it's not in town.
Right.
Because then I don't have the access to go there.
Exactly.
I really see it from a numbers standpoint more than anything. You don't get emotionally attached.
That's right.
But to the people who do feel that, what does that look like, and how do you get across that bridge?
It's a great question, because I've been there.
Yeah.
I always thought I want to be close to my property so I can keep an eye on them, and I want to be close to them.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older and busier, and more kids and all that stuff that comes with that, I want to spend as little time as I can on my properties, and I just want to make sure they're performing.
Right.
So that actually prevented me from buying for a while. I thought I got to just find places in Colorado.
Yeah.
I thought it was really hard to buy out of state or other markets. And the truth is, there's two things around that. One, because Denver's so hard and Colorado is getting harder to invest in, you have to go other places. You don't have a choice, especially if you're trying to get into it for the first time, right?
Yep.
And so you have to think about it differently. These are not places we're trying to live in. These are not places we want to make sure it's a place that someone else will want to rent, and find places where that's still possible and gets the numbers to work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So And then, people are like, well, am I going to have to travel out there every time there's a toilet that's broken or things like that? If you have a good property manager and you build that into your model, like we talked about before, right? And that's an expense that you're already taking care of. They're going to take care of all that for you, right? So my goal with anybody I work with is you never have to step foot, except for when you go and inspect it before you buy it.
Sure.
You never have to step foot in it.
Yeah.
I've never been into my fourplex down in Colorado Springs. Even when I bought it, I haven't been in there.
And has that been successful for you?
It's been great.
Great. You've got a management company that helps with that, right?
Company,
Exactly.
They do all of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of it, especially in this day and age, right? We can do video walkthroughs. We can do pictures.
Yep.
And I get a yearly inspection report. Well, they'll say, here's everything that's going on. Here's some things maybe we could fix. All of that. So it's not no work at all. You know what I mean? That's a bad way to say that. It's not like you're not going to do any work, but it's less work. And the goal of an investment property is that it works for you.
Right.
That you're not constantly spending time and working for it.
Right. It's like working virtually or in the office.
That's right.
You can work virtually these days. And
That's right.
That goes for real estate too.
100%.
And I love that because you make it seem so much more simple than than a lot of people feel like it is, right?
Right.
And that's why I love what you guys have over at Atlas.
Totally.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the things and those are big barriers. And once you kind of explain through and say, here's how we mitigate those things, here's how we make sure we take care of, all those things and we have margin around it.
Yeah.
Then it just gives you confidence to go, okay, like it's all taken care of. This is why we do these things. This is why we have these things in place so that you can go for it and you go find something. And when it works and the numbers work and everything's set up, it's a good decision going into it. You're not going in with any doubts.
Yeah, you are well prepared going into it. Yeah,
totally.